Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Any doubts regarding spermatogenesis? Do you have any doubts regarding spermatogenesis? Any point you want me to repeat before I start with oogenesis? I want to know whether you have understood spermatogenesis. Say something. No, you don't want me to repeat it. Okay, everyone know? I heard only from Punya. I think for everyone it is applicable. Yesterday we were discussing about the role of hormones in spermatogenesis as well as the structure of a sperm. So first we can have a quick recap of what we covered yesterday and then we'll proceed with oogenesis. So as you know, gametogenesis is a process by which gametes are formed in the gonads. Formation of sperms in the testis and ova in the ovaries. And we learned that gametogenesis includes spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So starting with spermatogenesis, the different steps. Donna, you can start.
Spermatogenesis is the process of formation of sperms by spermatogonia.
Don't read. I don't want you to read.
Formation of sperms by spermatogonia in the seminiferous tubules.
What is the first stage, Malavika? First step.
Formation of spermatids. Spermatogonia produce spermatids.
And then second step, second stage.
Spermiogenesis.
What is spermiogenesis?
Spermatids transform into sperms.
And we also learned the different steps, each stage. Okay, rather than we learned that two major stages are there. Apart from that, step by step, we learned the formation of sperms. Vidur, what is the first step?
Spermatogonia undergoes mitotic division and forms primary spermatocytes.
Okay. And Gayatri, next point.
Primary spermatocytes undergoes first meiotic division and forms secondary spermatocytes.
And then what is next, Anna?
Primary secondary spermatogenesis undergoes second meiotic division and
once again.
Secondary spermatocytes under second meiotic division form spermatids.
What about its chromosome number?
20 decreases.
To 20. What is its chromosome number? You were saying it correctly.
23.
23. What is the next step? Nevin? What is next?
Spermatids are transformed into spermatozoa.
Spermatids?
Turn to spermatozoa.
What do you call the process? What is the process called?
Spermiogenesis.
Spermiogenesis. And after that, what is next, Punya?
The sperm heads are embedded in the Sertoli cells for nourishment and development. And after proper development, they are released from the seminiferous tubules to the lumen, and this process is spermiation.
Spermiation. Then we learned about the role of different hormones. So who will summarize that? Michael, you may start. The role of hormones in spermatogenesis. I'll begin. Okay. Hypothalamus will release gonadotropins. Michael, daily lessons, I told you many times, I had been repeating, you need to revise your daily lessons. Nandana?
It secretes two gonadotropins.
That I told already. Then what is next?
Hormone.
Hypothalamus?
It releases two gonadotropins.
Then
luteinizing hormone, and
no,
follicle
before that, one step you're missing out. I told gonadotropin releasing hormones are produced from the hypothalamus. Then what? What does this particular hormone do?
It increases the GnRH levels.
You're reading something from the textbook, no?
From my
I'm
note.
asking you to summarize what we learned last day. You didn't touch your book, that's why. Vidur, Vidur already got a chance. Evelyn? Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am. Hypothalamus will be releasing the gonadotropin,
Releasing hormones. Then? After that? Nandana?
And it will be
Evelyn, I'm not able to hear you properly. Your voice is breaking in between. Is it okay now? Unmute and say. Unmute. Evelyn, unmute and say. Now you try.
Yes, ma'am.
Try now.
Hypothalamus will be releasing the gonadotropin releasing hormone. It will be acting on the anterior pituitary. So it results in the secretion of 2 gonadotropin.
Okay, now
that is
wait.
luteinizing.
Now wait. Enough. Now Nandana can continue.
The 2 hormones are luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone.
Tell me about luteinizing hormone.
Luteinizing hormone acts on Leydig cells and they secrete androgens, which
stimulates the secretion of
androgens, which stimulates the process of spermatogenesis.
Okay. Now the next hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, Naureen.
They act on Sertoli cells and stimulate the secretion of factors for spermiogenesis.
Okay. So that was about the role of hormones. Then finally we discussed about the structure of a sperm. Malavika?
A mature sperm is about 60 micrometer long. A plasma membrane envelops the body of the sperm.
And it is divided into?
200. No.
3. 2.
No, ma'am.
How many parts?
Middle piece, head and tail.
Tail. Tell me about its head. Meenakshi? Meenakshi Bijoy?
Ma'am, the head is an elongated, it has an elongated haploid nucleus, and the anterior portion is covered by a cap-like structure. It's called acrosome, and it is filled with enzymes.
What for?
For the fertilization of egg.
Okay, next, middle piece. Vidur? Vidur?
It contains numerous mitochondria, middle piece, then which will help in the movement of the tail.
That releases energy. Facilitating the movement of the sperm. Then the tail. Tail. Nevin?
Tell about tail.
Louder.
I'm supposed to explain the function of it.
Very feeble voice. I'm not able to hear. Speak a little louder.
Ma'am, I'm supposed to say the function of it.
You tell me what you know about the tail of sperm.
It helps in motility of the sperm.
Then it is having a central. Donna, what is there passing through the center?
Central axial filament.
Axial filament. What is that? Nevin?
Central axial filament.
Central axial filament, and it exhibits, the tail exhibits what type of movement? What type of movement is exhibited by the tail? I specified. Nandana, what was that?
Undulating movement.
Undulating movement. And the motility of the sperm is very, very important to reach the site of fertilization. Okay, only if the sperms are motile, they'll be able to reach the fallopian tube to result in fertilization. So today we'll be learning about oogenesis. As we have already learned spermatogenesis, now you know the definition for oogenesis. It's the formation of female gametes or ova in the ovaries. So let us see the details of the same. When compared to spermatogenesis, this can be a little confusing. So here you can see the picture of an ovary with the ova, the different stages in the formation of ova. You can see slowly from primordial follicle. Ovulation also they have shown where the ovum will be released from the ovary. You know that in females, once they reach puberty, every month or once in 28 days, one ovum will be released. So the different transitional stages you can see in the figure. It's a process of formation of a mature female gamete. So that is known as oogenesis, the process of formation of a mature female gamete. Only when it is matured, it will be released from the ovary, resulting in ovulation. Oogenesis is initiated in the embryonic stage. When we discussed about spermatogenesis, we learned that the process starts at puberty. And oogenesis is initiated in the embryonic stage. When the female child is in the embryonic stage, at that time itself, oogenesis starts. When millions of egg mother cells are formed within each ovary. So spermatogonia is the name for sperm mother cells, and oogonia is the name for egg mother cells. So when a child is born, when a female child is born, in the ovary there will be millions of oogonia. So are formed within this each ovary. It undergoes some transitional stages, so that we'll discuss. So when it is in the embryonic stage itself, the process of oogenesis starts and millions of egg mother cells or oogonia will be formed within each ovary. And after birth, once a baby is born, no more oogonia will be formed. Whatever has to form will be formed at the time, by the time the baby is born. Once the baby is born, further oogonia will not be added or will not be formed. Oogonia start division and they enter into prophase 1 of meiosis. You know that meiosis has got two stages. It is meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. And you have learned in detail about the different stages of both meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. So these oogonia, they'll start dividing and they enter, once they reach the prophase 1 of meiosis, the division will get temporarily arrested and they remain as primary oocytes. So the oogonia at the prophase 1 of meiosis, you call it as primary oocytes. So I'll repeat once again. Oogenesis is the process of formation of mature female gamete. And when does this process start? It starts at the embryonic stage. When the female child is in the embryonic stage itself, the process begins and millions of oogonia or egg mother cells will be formed, and these oogonia will enter into prophase 1 stage. They start dividing or they enter meiotic division, but once they reach the prophase 1 stage, the division, or it will be suspended. The division will not be further proceeded. You know the different stages involved: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, but all those stages will not take place. Once it enter into prophase 1, the division will get temporarily arrested. And at that stage, you call them as primary oocytes. Okay. Okay. Once again, I'll repeat the points. It's a process of formation of mature female gamete, and it begins at the embryonic stage, and millions of oogonia or egg mother cells will be formed within each ovary of the female embryo, and no more oogonia will be formed or added after the birth. And oogonia will undergo division. They will enter into prophase 1 stage, and at that stage, the division gets temporarily arrested. It restarts at a later stage, which we will be dealing later. And in this condition, at that particular stage, you call them as primary oocytes. Oogonia are known as primary oocytes when their division is arrested at the prophase 1 stage. Each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells. Only division is arrested, but it undergoes some changes. It undergoes some other development, like formation of more and more cells around it. All that will be carried on, whereas the division will be withheld. Each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells to form a primary follicle. So here you can see primary oocyte, and that is surrounded by granulosa cells. Granulosa cells are actually follicular cells, or you can say these are cells with endocrine function. You will be learning about one more type of cell, theca cells. Both theca cells and granulosa cells, they are endocrine in function. They produce hormones, and granulosa cells you can even call as follicular cells also. Each follicle contain one ovum, or each follicle will be having an egg cell. Each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells, and at this stage you call it as primary follicle. Ovarian follicles, maybe you might have heard. So it has got different stages: primary, secondary, tertiary. So we'll be learning about all that. So the primary oocyte, the division of oogonia, will be suspended at meiotic 1 stage, and at that stage you call it as primary oocyte. It will remain as primary oocyte, but externally it will be surrounded by different layers of cells. To begin with, it will be surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells. At that stage, you can call it as primary follicle. So primary oocyte will get transformed into primary follicle when they get surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells. A large number of primary follicles degenerate during the phase from birth to puberty. So you know that millions of oogonia are produced in the embryo, but majority of these primary follicles during the phase, from the time of birth, from the time they are born till the puberty stage, majority of them, a large number, will get degenerated. From millions, it will get reduced to thousands. Thousands means 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles only will remain in each ovary by the time the girl reaches puberty. I'll repeat once again. During the embryonic stage, millions of oogonia or egg mother cells will be formed in the ovary. And these primary follicles, oogonia will enter into meiotic division. And once they reach the prophase 1 of the meiotic division, the division will get suspended. And at that stage, you call it as primary oocytes. And these primary oocytes will get transformed into primary follicle when they get surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells. and a large number of primary follicles. They will get degenerated from the time of birth till puberty. So all these primary oocytes will get surrounded by granulosa cells and they transform into primary follicles. But large number of them will get degenerated from the time the baby is born till puberty. And by the time the girl reaches puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles will remain in each ovary. Okay, up to here, have you understood? Now, so now we have reached the primary follicular stage. The primary follicles which are remaining, those primary, I told you, a large number will degenerate, but those remaining will get surrounded by more layers of granulosa cells. So when primary oocyte got surrounded by a single layer of granulosa cells, it transformed into primary follicle. When these primary follicles are surrounded by more layers of granulosa and a new theca layer. Theca, these are also endocrine cells. Both of them, granulosa and theca cells, they have endocrine function. They produce hormones and they'll be surrounded by a new theca and more granulosa cells. Then primary follicles will get transformed into secondary follicles. Okay, so we started with oogonia, primary oocyte, primary follicle, secondary follicle. Okay, after primary oocyte, it formed primary follicle. Now primary follicle, when they get surrounded by more layers of granulosa and a new theca, it will get transformed into secondary follicle. So a layer of theca and more granulosa cells will surround the primary follicle and it gets transformed into secondary follicles. Now the secondary follicles will get transformed into tertiary follicle. So what are the changes happening in the secondary follicle when they get transformed into tertiary? It develops a fluid-filled cavity. The secondary follicle, inside that, a fluid-filled cavity, you call it as andrum. It is filled with a fluid and the theca layer forms an inner theca interna and outer theca externa. The theca layer. So when it got transformed into secondary follicle, I told a layer of theca cells is surrounding the primary follicle so that it will get transformed into secondary follicle. But when the secondary follicle undergoes transformation into tertiary follicle, these changes happen. What are the changes happening? It develops a fluid-filled cavity inside. You call it as andrum. And apart from that, the theca layer gets differentiated into external and internal layer. In secondary follicle, that differentiation was not there. It was just surrounded by a layer of theca cells. But once they get transformed into tertiary follicle, the theca layer undergoes more differentiation and becomes, or they change into outer and inner layer. Okay, here you can see a fluid-filled cavity, andrum, and theca interna and theca externa, and granulosa cells are already there. The primary oocyte, and you should remember that all these changes are happening around the primary oocyte. Primary oocyte is getting, or by the formation of more and more layers around it, it is undergoing some changes, but the primary oocyte is there inside. When it is surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells, it got transformed into primary follicle. When they got surrounded by more layers of granulosa and theca cells, it got transformed into secondary follicle. Then by the development of a fluid-filled cavity called andrum and the differentiation of theca cells into external and internal layer, it changed into tertiary follicle. But the primary oocyte is within. The primary oocyte in the tertiary follicle grows in size and undergoes first unequal meiotic division. So the meiotic division was suspended at prophase 1 stage. And once they reach the tertiary follicular stage, the primary oocyte inside will grow in size. They'll increase in size and they continue. They carry out the first meiotic division, and you call it as unequal division because the cells formed are not equal in size. There'll be a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny polar body which will get degenerated later. The polar body will get degenerated later, but when the division takes place, it will form a primary. The primary oocyte undergoes division and it will form a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny polar body. It is mentioned first polar body because one more second polar body also will be formed. So we have named it as first polar body which will get degenerated later. Once again, I'll explain. You want me to say it from the beginning, no? Shall I?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we were discussing about oogenesis. It is a process of formation of a mature female gamete, and oogenesis is beginning, or it starts at the time of, or when the child is in the embryonic stage. When the female baby is in the embryonic stage, at that time oogenesis will start, and millions of oogonia or egg mother cells will be formed within each ovary. And after the birth of the baby, no more oogonia will be formed. And these oogonia start meiotic division, and once they enter into prophase 1 stage, the division will get suspended, and at that stage you call it as primary oocytes. The primary oocyte will remain as such, but it will undergo some changes. Some primary oocyte will remain within, but it undergo some changes by the formation of more and more layers of cells around it. I'll repeat once again. Once the oogonia carry out division, or they enter into meiotic division and reach the prophase 1, the division will get arrested or it will be suspended, and at that stage you call it as primary oocytes, and these primary oocytes will not undergo any division, but at the same time some changes are occurring around this primary oocyte by the formation of more and more layers around it. Then they get surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells, you call it as primary follicle. And when these primary follicles are surrounded by more layers of granulosa and a new theca layer, you call it a secondary follicle. And a point to be noted is that these primary follicles, even though so many millions of oogonia being formed and they are undergoing change and forming primary follicles, a large number of them will get degenerated from the time the baby is born till she reaches puberty. And at the time of puberty, only 60 to 80,000 primary follicles will remain in each ovary. And once secondary follicles are formed, they will further undergo changes by the formation of a fluid-filled cavity known as androgen. At the same time, the theca layer will get differentiated into theca externa and theca interna. As the name suggests, interna is the inner layer and externa is the external layer. The primary oocyte, when it reaches or at the tertiary follicular stage, the primary oocyte, which is remaining within, they'll start undergoing some changes, some major changes. So they'll grow in size and they will continue the meiotic division, and as a result of meiotic division, you call it as unequal division because the two cells formed are not equal in size. One is a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body. This polar body, actually it is unknown. Scientists could not find out what happens to this particular polar body. They assume that this will get degenerated. And the secondary oocyte retains the nutrient-rich cytoplasm of the primary oocyte. So we reached up to the secondary oocyte stage. Primary oocyte is undergoing meiotic division and it is forming secondary oocyte. So till here, after the formation of like oogonia got transformed into primary oocyte. Then remaining stages are primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle. After the tertiary follicular stage only, the primary oocyte is getting changed to secondary oocyte. And secondary oocyte, it will retain the nutrient-rich cytoplasm. So even though it is formed by the division of primary oocyte, a tiny polar body is also being formed. But this one, secondary oocyte, will be retaining the entire nutrient-rich cytoplasm of the primary oocyte. It is not distributed into the tiny polar body. It will retain the nutrient-rich cytoplasm. It's unknown that whether the first polar body divides further or degenerates. The tertiary follicle further changes into mature follicle, and you call it as Graafian follicle. Children, these changes, that is the division of the primary oocyte to form a secondary oocyte and a tiny polar body is taking place within the tertiary follicle because the primary oocyte is within. So there the division is happening, it is forming secondary oocyte and a tiny polar body. And now the tertiary follicle will undergo further changes and transform into mature follicle, and this mature follicle you call it as Graafian follicle. Secondary oocyte, which is within the Graafian follicle, it will form a new membrane. It covers itself with a new membrane. You call it as zona pellucida. Secondary oocyte forms a membranous covering. You call it as zona pellucida. And where is this secondary oocyte present? Within the Graafian follicle. How is Graafian follicle formed? Once the division of the primary oocyte into secondary oocyte and the tiny polar body is completed, the tertiary follicle will undergo some changes and gets transformed into Graafian follicle or mature follicle. And within the Graafian follicle, the secondary oocyte forms a membrane. You call it a zona pellucida. Now the Graafian follicle, it will rupture to release the secondary oocyte, that is ovum, from the ovary, and you call it as ovulation. You know that in the menstrual cycle on the 14th day, ovulation takes place. And this ovulation, how it is, ovulation means the release of ovum. If ovum has to be released, the Graafian follicle should rupture. It will break open, releasing the secondary oocyte or ovum from the ovary, and you call this process as ovulation. Okay, here you can see.
Ma'am, can you repeat the last point?
I will repeat, I'll go back to that. Before that, just see the flow chart. Oogonia, just like spermatogonia, these are also diploid. 46 chromosomes are present. And these oogonia, they undergo mitosis in the embryonic stage. Okay, they undergo mitosis and they get transformed into primary oocyte. Primary oocyte is also diploid. And these primary oocyte, they'll grow in size. Okay, about the follicular stage, it is not mentioned. Okay, only about the oocytes. The primary oocyte is in the diploid state. They grow in size, and these primary oocyte, they will enter meiotic 1 stage. Okay, and later the meiotic 1 stage is completed. We are not mentioning about the follicular stages. Once the meiotic 1 first stage is completed, it will form secondary oocyte and the tiny polar body. And this meiotic 2 is also there. Not only meiotic 1, meiotic 2 is also there. And that will be completed at the time of fertilization, which will result in the formation of oocyte, ovum, and the second polar body. Secondary oocyte also, you call it as ovum. And when it is completing Further, the second meiotic division will get transformed into ootid, and that is also known as ovum. It's having haploid number of chromosomes. From secondary oocyte, it's having haploid number of chromosomes, and the second polar body will be formed. So we will quickly recap all the points. So before that, okay. So to begin with, oogonia, okay. Oogonia, they will enter prophase 1 of meiosis. Division get temporarily arrested and they form primary oocytes. Okay. In the prophase 1, division is temporarily arrested, and they form primary oocytes. Now what happens? This primary oocyte will be surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and form primary follicle. Okay. Clear, you have understood, no? Oogonia, they enter prophase 1 of meiotic division. The division will be suspended and you call that stage as primary oocyte. These primary oocytes will be surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and they form primary follicle. Now what happens? This primary follicle plus more layers of granulosa, and a new theca. New theca layer, they'll form what? What do they form? Secondary follicle. Okay. First it was oogonia, then primary oocyte. Now from primary oocyte, primary follicle. After primary follicle, the next stage is secondary follicle. Now what happens? The secondary follicle will transform into tertiary follicles with andrum. They'll change into secondary follicles with andrum, and at the same time theca forms. Theca externa and interna. Okay. Then what is next? Primary oocyte. Once they reach the tertiary follicle stage, the primary oocyte in tertiary follicle completes oh my God. Again, so to begin with oogonia, first is oogonia. Next step is enter prophase 1 of meiotic stage and their division temporarily arrested forms primary, they form primary oocytes. And the third step, primary oocytes will get surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and they form primary follicle. Okay, that much you wrote? Yes. Now the fourth one, primary follicle plus more layers of granulosa plus new theca equal to secondary follicle. Primary follicle plus more layers of granulosa plus new theca is equal to secondary follicle. Then they form tertiary follicles. Next one, put an arrow and write tertiary follicles with andrum, comma, theca forms theca externa and interna. Till here I wrote on the board. Next is, next step, primary oocyte within tertiary follicle completes meiotic 1. Completes meiotic 1. Okay. And then you can put 2 arrows against it and you can write tiny first polar body and secondary oocyte. Put 2 arrows. You write first polar body and secondary oocyte. In brackets for secondary oocyte, you can write N. Okay. Primary oocyte, wherever primary oocyte and oogonia are coming, you can write there 2N. Only for secondary oocyte, you will write in brackets N, indicating that it's haploid. Then in brackets, secondary oocyte in brackets, you can write retains nutrient-rich cytoplasm of primary oocyte. In brackets, you write retains nutrient-rich cytoplasm of primary oocyte. Okay? Is it okay?
Yes.
Then, next, put an arrow and write tertiary follicle transforms into Mechographian follicle. Tertiary follicle transforms into Mechographian follicle. Comma. Secondary oocyte forms zona pellucida. ZONA-PELLUCIDA. I'll repeat it again. We wrote polar body, secondary oocyte, and I told to write in bracket, retains nutrient-rich cytoplasm of primary oocyte. Next arrow, tertiary follicle transforms into Mechographian follicle, comma, secondary oocyte forms zona pellucida. Okay, next arrow, Graphian follicle. You can use abbreviated form just for your reference and to make it easy for you to learn. Graphian follicle, GF or something for the time being, not for the exam, okay? Graphian follicle ruptures. Graphian follicle ruptures. Again an arrow. Releases secondary oocyte. releases secondary oocyte or ovum. You can put slash. Secondary oocyte slash ovum from the ovary. There you can write in some other coloring ovulation. That process is ovulation. Okay. Any step you want me to repeat, you can ask me. Any step you want me to tell again? Yes?
The first steps again.
First step. I'll quickly read.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Oogonia. Ender prophase 1 of meiosis. Division temporarily arrested. Form primary oocyte. Fine, Michael?
Yeah.
Next, primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and form primary follicle. Primary oocytes surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and form primary follicle. Next, primary follicle plus more layers of granulosa cells plus new theca cells equal to secondary follicle. Next, tertiary follicle. That means it gets transformed into tertiary follicle with andrum. And theca cells will get differentiated into theca externa. You can write theca forms, theca externa and interna. Next, primary oocyte within tertiary follicle undergoes meiotic 1 division. It completes meiotic 1 division. And then you can put 2 arrows. Secondary oocyte, bracket N. Next one, tiny polar body. And against the secondary oocyte, in brackets you can write, retains nutrient-rich cytoplasm of primary oocyte. Next step, tertiary follicle transforms into mature Graafian follicle. Secondary oocyte forms zona pellucida. Okay. And last step, Graafian follicle ruptures and releases secondary oocyte or ovum from the ovary. And there you can write in some other coloring ovulation. The process of release of ovum from the ovary, you call it as ovulation. And wherever oogonia and primary oocyte are coming, you can write in brackets 2n. And wherever secondary oocyte is mentioned, there in brackets you can write n. Okay, clear?
Okay.
So no time for asking the questions. So next class will begin with the review questions. Okay. So thank you, children. Anthony. Where is he? Anthony, just respond. You were there. Why the video was off? I have given already some names of children who frequently turn off their camera. The sir told if it is getting repeated, you inform. Okay, reminder, last reminder. And one more thing I wanted to say, forgot. Anyways, thank you, children. See you next class.
Thank you.